Please feel free to tell me, because these things are little complex and advanced for that matter. So you might feel at times that this might be a difficult part, but that's why I'm going very slowly so that you can understand the things. Now coming to the next part, which is again very important, is that why maybe I'll just start off from here. Okay. So one of the so now we have established what is OFDMA, and we have also established that the fact that we are in a position to transmit the orthogonal set of data. That also we have discussed. So now the thing is how we are in a position, how we are going to send the data over the air, or rather we will generate that such amount of data. Okay, so in order to understand that, first we need to understand one very important thing, that although we are claiming this orthogonality process, and supposingly that they can be generated properly, suppose those things are already taken care of, okay, by some means we are generating it. But the thing is to maintain so many modulators. Okay, so I might write it instead of uh, keeping it here. So I'll do that. Yeah. So what I'm trying to write is something like this. That the point is that implementation. So this is another set of important aspects. Implementation of bank of n modulators and n demodulators and n demodulators, because modulators remember we are using n subcarriers, so it means that there are n modulators and n demodulators which are required at the transmitter and the receiver side. So implementing of bank of n modulators and n demodulators is extremely difficult. This is what I was trying to tell you, because you can see that the number of subcarriers can be around 1024, 2048. Okay, all these values. So you imagine that this many number of highly closely spaced frequency and modulators should be tuned. Okay, because basically they are frequency, they are tuned to that particular frequency, FC1 to FCN. Okay, all these frequencies should be in the N modulators. Now this, at times, using a like a filter of modulators is not a very possible, or rather it is not a very favorable condition, because invariably there is a scenario that the orthogonality won't be maintained. Definitely, because n modulators, if you are using a filter bank, it won't be providing it with n modulators. Definitely it's a difficulty. And also the problem is that hardware complexity will also be there along with it. So that is also another factor. In order to eliminate this, okay, in 1972 a very interesting thing has happened. In 1972, the first time DFT, discrete Fourier transform, came into existence. Okay. So the point is DFT, or discrete Fourier transform. Discrete Fourier. So before that also, this whole of orthogonality and whatever we have discussed, this was all done, and which was tested with respect to the different bank of filters. But it was found out that that's not a very good solution, and we cannot go ahead into that because there is so many complexity involved. 1972 was the first time, I forgot the name of the legendary researchers. They found out, I think Winston or something was the name. They first introduced the concept of DFT, or discrete Fourier transform, in terms of the signal processing. Okay, the one that you people and we all are known favored with, the IFFTs and FFT scenario, the fast Fourier transform and the inverse fast Fourier transform based on the different time domains, as well as the algorithm that they propose is the fast Fourier transform. The process involved is much faster. Anyway, that is separate. So this DFT actually solved a lot of things for us, especially with respect to OFDM. So what it does, what ideally the thing is, I'll explain that using this particular small little uh, calculation. So what it did is something like this. Let's say that SI, okay, let's say SIT, just follow me closely. SIT, if suppose this is the different modulated signal, okay. So this is suppose n modulators are there. So suppose SIT indicates the 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 baseband representation of a of the modulated signal. So basically, what I can mention is that ST, if I consider this to be the overall summation, so summation I equals to 0 to n minus 1 SIT. So this is what I was mentioning, because there's a multi-path, carrier modulation. So this is something what is happening. Now, if I happen to write this in terms of the amplitude as well as the phase, okay, in that way, or if I represent it in a much generic way, so this is something like I equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of I e to the x of I into t e to the power j 2 pi f c, rather f I would write f I. So this is a common representation of the baseband representation as we know, and Fi into T. So this is what we can represent. Okay, so this is the complex, the real part of the signal we are talking about. Okay. So this is the amplitude as well as phase representation. Now instead of this Fi, okay, if I happen to write that I equals to 0 n minus 1 x of I into t e to the power sorry, not minus, e to the power j 2 pi I into b by n into t. Now what I did, you remember that I told you that the frequency spacing that we had discussed in OFDMA as of now, this particular part Fi is basically the frequency deviation. So this I am mentioning as I by Bn. So B by n was for the first one. So this is the ith instance. Okay, Fi is the frequency spacing, like I mentioned 15, 30, 45 integral multiple of the base frequency. So Fi is equal to I into B by n. B by n is the frequency spacing. We talked about it. We took an example last day as well. Okay, so if I do this, now suppose we mentioned 2 points. One is that this one first information, what first of the information is that if you check this part, okay, if you check this is nothing but a Fourier series representation. So ideally, or interestingly, if I happens to mention this a little bit, it is still not yet done, but we can actually represent this in terms of the DFT, IDFT rather. And how we can do that? So you can see the time, if I consider the TS is equal to sample time, okay, which is equal to 1 by B, which we already, again, we know, because SIT is a band limited signal, so TS is by this. So the UH sample, suppose UH sample at time instant UTS, U into TS will be nothing but U into U divided by B. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure that this particular part, okay, this particular part where T is one of the factor, we are trying to eliminate this T, okay, because of a certain reason, because we are so we are in a position, we are almost in a position to represent this with respect to the Fourier transformation, the DFT spread, that is. So you're looking at here xi this, so we are representing T. So what I can mention, what I want to is s of, instead of this t, we are writing UTS. UTS is equal to, suppose I mention this as x of u, a new variable maybe. So this is nothing but summation I equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of I into UTS, okay, e to the power j 2 pi I into b by n. This was already there, and instead of t I write u by b. Okay, so now it happens, you can see that bb gets cancelled, so the final outcome is summation, let it be xi UTS e to the power j 2 pi I u by n. Now this particular representation that you're talking about, this particular e to the power j 2 pi iu by n, this is nothing but an IDFT solution. IDFT solution. So basically this XU, if you consider this one, this gives us an understanding that the multi-carrier transmission that we had, okay, that actually represents, or that can be actually represented using a fast Fourier transformation, or an inverse, in this case the inverse discrete Fourier transformation, and that is eventually the most helping part, because we don't require the bank of modulators, and actually we can apply the fast Fourier transform or the inverse fast Fourier transform on top of any signal, and we can get the same set of results. So this actually helps in this all calculation why we did this, will reduce the complexity. This will reduce the complexity, and fortunately using this process we can use the FFT or the IFFT algorithms. So as we know that from our concept that FFT and IFFT are used in a signal processing to fasten up the process. So the speed at which the computation will happen, that also will be really fast. All right, so this is what is the idea behind why we have used, or why in OFDMA we are going to use an FFT, to be honest. Also along with this we should add one thing that I think this already you know, that or rather I'll just touch upon that as well, that why we are doing all the calculation on IDFT, or rather why we are shifting the time to frequency domain for our analysis. If you know, I don't know whether you know it or not, but ideally there are reasons for why we are choosing the option of converting or uh, changing the domain from time to frequency. And ideally, if you don't know, please understand this. Usually what happens that when we are doing it in terms of time domain, the only factor that we have to compare with is the amplitude. So the amplitude versus time. Now basically, if this is what the idea is, if the amplitude is what we're trying to do, so the thing is that at any given point of time, you will only have that particular value of amplitude, but you don't have the nature of amplitude degradation or the profiling of the amplitude of a particular signal, which if you convert that to frequency domain, you will always tend to know that what is the spread of the amplitude and how it has varied over the period of time. So that is one of the reasons why the time domain approach, the frequency domain approach, is much better in comparison to time domain. And another thing is that in many of the cases in time domain, if you calculate in time domain, the calculations are mostly very complex mathematical derivation. Okay, so complex multiplication is associated with the time domain analysis, which is drastically reduced if I convert from time to frequency domain. Then the complex multiplication will give rise to simpler multiplication. So as far as the analytical part is concerned, that is also advantageous. So you can observe that all things matches properly. One is that we are changing the domain from time domain analysis to frequency domain analysis for the certain reason. And in order to do that, we have the advantage, we have the assistance of the IDFT, okay, as a tool to do that, and to speed up the process, we can use the IFFT in the transmitter and FFT in the receiver, because that is what the idea is, that when you're sending the data, it should be time to frequency domain. When you're returning back after the analysis, so you have done everything in frequency domain, so you have to convert back to time domain, because the signal that you are going to get at the receiver is should be at time dependent signal. So that again, a frequency to time conversion will happen. So eventually what is happening, that IFFT is a block that should be used at the transmitter, and FFT is the block which should be used at the receiver. Okay, so that is the overall picture of the signal processing aspect or signal processing part of the OFDMA system. Am I clear with this? Am I clear with this? Where I started off with, that why we are going to use the FFT, what is the effective role of it? So that I think is clear now to you. That why we are actually trying to use it for that matter, because every time the bank of modulators won't be a possibility, but if we can convert it into some kind, or rather the analysis shows that the generic baseband signal can be represented in terms of a Fourier representation. So if that is the case, then any multipath signal, whatever you are generating, that can also be processed using the conventional image signal processing algorithm. So that will reduce the complexity of our generation as well as the calculation. Okay. So that's what the discussion was on. Let's go back to our discussion once again, so that I can show you the sequence of events. So this is what the idea before the FFT thing has happened. Okay, so this was, you can observe that there are sine 2 pi fc, sine 2 pi fc plus del f plus 2 del f, like that. There are multiple such carrier frequency which are present. But as I said, this is impossible, because n equally spaced likely subcarriers which are orthogonal to each other, okay, it's very difficult to make or build such a system. So in order to do that, instead of this, as I said already, that mathematically modulating a waveform and adding it, SIT summation that I mentioned, is equivalent to taking an IFFT. That's how I proved it, that how it is equivalent.